Welcome back. On this week's episode, we are talking about Star Wars.
Star Wars. And
Star Wars Episode 4,
yep,
A New Hope.
it's the only place to start, even though we considered starting somewhere else.
It's not the
So
only
it's not-
place to start.
It's not. We should have done the machete order. Now that I think about it, which I think we start in the same place anyway. But
Isn't the machete order 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6?
yeah, and then the sequels are just whatever. I think.
I'm pretty sure those aren't in the watch order for the machete order.
I think it's after 6.
If you care that much,
to be
you're
to be
the
canon
kind of guy
accurate,
that skips
be
the
machete
sequels
order
altogether.
Yeah. I mean, which is fine. I'm not gonna yell at you for it. So, but we're talking about the first one, the fourth one, but the first one.
First one chronologically. Movie's almost 50 years old.
Yeah, next year.
50 years.
Jeez.
Next year. Madness. Absolute madness. It is an old movie. It is a iconic movie. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a movie more often quoted and parodied and referenced. Very few movies kickstart multi-billion-dollar brands, let alone something like Star Wars.
Yeah.
What do we even say about a film like this?
I don't know. I've seen it.
I've seen it.
I've seen it so many
You've
times.
seen
I've seen
it.
it.
You've seen it.
And if you haven't, I'm not even going to give a spoiler warning. I think you deserve it. Sorry.
It's like
Controversial.
for Shakespeare at this point.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, you should already have read this. You
Long time
You
ago.
should have seen Star Wars in a galaxy far,
Yeah,
far
you
away.
should have read Shakespeare.
You should have kept
in the
up
Star
with
Wars
this.
galaxy. Yeah. Yeah, it's not that we're not excited to talk about this movie. It's just that, like, it's been
What
a
is there to
constant
talk
in our
about?
life. I don't
It's
know
Star Wars.
because you can always there's always
It's
people who
Star
do the,
Wars.
I know you could do the plot, which just seems so
Everybody
that just seems so
knows
like redundant.
plot of Star Wars.
I know, or you could do the
Yeah.
cultural impact. And people have beaten that into the ground of like how it was made, why was it made, what made him want to make sequels, and all that stuff. So it's just tough to find what kind of angle do you take that isn't just stealing from literally everybody else.
You know what we should do? We should talk through different analyses of Star Wars. Different lenses through which we can view the film, different ways we can understand it.
Okay, so are you talking about like you have politics, you have religion, you have cultural, you have whatever, or do you have like no? There's like 15 different political lenses you can look through this. You just go through the political, or just go through the religious, or whatever. Besides, you have thought, like you have the empire dynamic, and then the oppressed people dynamic, and the rebellion and the revolution, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
what's your political read on the film?
Well, I know he had a bunch of influences for this movie. With like Vietnam, I think was one. I think the Iranian Revolution to some degree was. But there's a lot of different parallels you can make, even if it wasn't a direct comparison.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty straightforward big bad guy. Like the Emperor isn't even in it. It's just you have Vader, you have Tarkin, and they try to blow up a universe-ending weapon of some sort. So you got nuclear weapons kind of in there too. And the first movie by itself is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
They of course expand upon it later, but so
you don't say.
Yeah, a lot. They don't stop.
So much so that they have like an expanded universe.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We should do all the EU books.
We should not.
Why not?
There's like 800.
It's endless. I know it's endless content. It's like Mario Odyssey.
That's not endless content.
There's a EU.
There's a set number of moons.
There's a EU.
That's no moon.
Book for every moon in Mario Odyssey.
Dear gosh. That's horrific to think about.
Anyway, at least
to tell you how influential Star Wars has been.
Yeah, the fact that there's moons in Mario Odyssey.
Okay, that's.
I don't know. I like that's crazy.
Multiple writers, multiple comic writers, multiple video game studios that are able to make a consistent living year after year after year, building onto the foundation this film lays.
Yes. Yeah.
I agree that it's kind of straightforward politically. The Empire, a lot of the officers, first off, they're white.
Yep.
Second, they're men.
Yep.
Third, they all are vaguely British.
Mhm.
They're varying degrees of British. The officer class is almost exclusively British. They're admirals. The Star Destroyers, they're like a space navy. It's really clear. Hey, these are basically the British.
Yeah. But do you think it's interesting, or don't you think it's interesting that Obi-Wan has a British accent?
It is.
And, gosh, the leader of the rebellion, he's the old guy who gives the presentation. I can't remember his name. He has a British accent, too.
Are you forgetting character names in the hit film
Yes,
Star Wars?
the guy who gets up on the board and says, "Hey,
The PowerPoint guy.
the PowerPoint
in
guy,
Star Wars.
the glorified robot." Yeah,
Okay, first off, leader of the rebellion's going a bit far.
I think that's what he is. I think
No.
he's the mission leader. At least he's like the guy. He's like the guy in charge.
No, he's doing the PowerPoint. Guy who knows how PowerPoint works. Hey, can you go up there and go click through the slides? Hey guys, I made this graphic of the Death Star. It looks like this. I'm just saying. I
know you're just saying.
I think.
I know. I
think you're
can hear you. You are
overhyping
just
this
saying.
guy a little bit.
I'm not.
I think you are.
He has a British accent. Is what I'm saying. I'm saying the people who are in power are all British. Is what I'm saying. The people
Okay.
who are plot movers, the people who like Leia goes to with Obi-Wan. He doesn't have any authority, but he's a resource that she's going to. He used to be in charge. He was influential during the Clone Wars and in the Republic.
Okay.
And then if this other guy's just a PowerPoint guy, we don't have to bring him up again. If it really means that much to you, we don't have to, and it's fine.
So, on the one hand, this is a very straightforward political film. The British Empire is bad. The British Empire kills people, takes their stuff. It maintains a rigid system of control in the periphery. And at the same time, the movie places every character in a position of power. Every character in that place is British. They have the accent. So it's a critique of British Empire that simultaneously is unable to escape the orbit of British Empire. Their conception of what a leader looks like, what they sound like, it still relies on the old British models. So it's a critique of imperialism where the substance might be revolutionary. You know, the substance is, the British Empire is bad. But the style can't seem to envision anything beyond the British Empire and its aesthetics. Not in terms of like building, but in terms of accents, in terms of what powerful people look like, in terms of how they get stuff done. I don't know. They suspend the parliament. They suspend the Senate. Tarkin makes that clear.
It's a very Cromwell-esque type of.
Yeah, it's
type of deal.
descending into fascism. They have the stormtroopers, which are German. So it's not 1-to-1 British, like say the Pirates of the Caribbean films.
Yeah,
but it's the foundation.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, wouldn't British fascism suck? Wouldn't it be like the
in
Empire,
a hypothetical
but with
world,
stormtroopers?
In a hypothetical world where we got British
very
fascism.
simple.
Yeah. And the institutionalized racism and the massive navy.
Yes. Yeah.
That can go anywhere in the world or anywhere in the universe.
Okay, fine. But they got external fascism.
External.
They were pretty chill internally.
Yeah. Well, yes, in this movie, yeah.
They're pretty chill. It's that they're harsh on the outer rim. They're expanding. They're harsh on the rebellion. I don't know. I think it's a stretch to say that the film doesn't escape its Britishness, but I'm swinging for it. I'm swinging for it. Deconstructionist reading of Star Wars: A New Hope. You've never heard it before, and you've heard everything about this film for the last 50 years.
Except for
you're welcome. You're welcome for the new original take.
Yes.
On Star Wars that nobody said before.
I bet you've never heard this name. General Dodonna.
I've never heard that.
He was the central figure.
No.
He was the central figure in planning the attack on the Death Star, providing tactical support from the command center, identifying the critical weakness.
Identifying the critical weakness.
See, and this ties into the thing I wanted to talk about. So this is actually about the plot, okay? So,
as opposed to everything I've been saying, trying to salvage some original
literally
take.
Just the lore and literally just the canon. You have Vader who chases Leia because she has the Death Star plans, right?
Yeah.
They dock with the ship
Mm-hmm.
and immediately are met with a sealed door that they have to blow open.
Yeah.
And the rebels are there waiting to shoot all of them, right? It's the iconic scene where the stormtroopers walk in and the Vader walks through the dead bodies and all that kind of stuff. That's
Right,
cool.
right.
We've seen that before. We all know this.
Yeah.
Then both her and Antilles try to tell him, we're on a diplomatic mission. Like, we're not even talking about Rogue One yet, but just in this movie,
Yeah.
what made you think that was the best thing to do? You're taking up positions on the hallway. Yeah, the stormtroopers opened fire, but you sealed the door.
Yeah.
And then they see rebels waiting for them. That's kind of weird.
Okay, we say rebels. You get the sense that they're just...
To Vader, they're rebels.
Yeah, but they're also...
Because of what they're doing.
They're legitimate military personnel on...
For Alderaan.
For Alderaan.
Yes.
So it'd be
but
sailors on a foreign ship.
Well, okay, if you take... This
Why
is
does
where...
the Spanish ship have Spanish military personnel on it? That's probably bad. So it's like, well, it's a Spanish ship, dude.
Well, it'd be more like... Well, I'm not going to make that comparison. That's too recent.
Please do not say whatever you're about to say.
Yeah.
Keep that to yourself.
Every example I can think of is way too inflammatory, so I'm not going to. But it'd be like a bigger country who has a member of said country, a nation state or something within the country, and then the nation state does something like, I don't know, the Battle of Scarif, where they steal the Death Star plans,
Right?
And then they try to say, "Oh, we're sovereign." Like if the Vatican attacked Rome, even though the Vatican's sovereign, they're like, "Oh, diplomatic mission."
You could have picked anything.
But you sealed. No, I couldn't
picked
have.
anything.
There was multiple I went through, and I thought attacking Catholicism is the way to go.
You couldn't have said like Argentina, Madagascar,
No.
New Zealand. How
are those the same?
Like, they're not a global religion.
No, I'm saying.
You see my point.
Alderaan was a member of the Empire. Is what I'm trying to. Is the connection I'm trying to.
I'm just
the connection I'm trying to make.
There are other countries you could have gone with.
Because the Vatican's never done anything questionable.
That's not the point.
That's
not the point.
That's what you're saying.
Okay, but if I were to say something like bad person, like just spitball the Pope, you'd be like, oh, why'd you go with the Vatican?
No, but in this case, the Vatican is the
little
rebellion.
Weird, man.
The Vatican's the
No.
rebellion in this case. They are. The analogy
That's
that
a
I'm making.
contrarian.
No, it's not.
Radically, I think the real rebels are the Vatican and the Vatican Central Bank.
Have you seen the size of the Vatican compared to the size of Italy? I'm talking about nation states. Whatever, man. Whatever, man. What, you want me to use Ireland? That's you know what? We should have used Ireland. That would have been a greater example. It's so much better.
I agree.
No, that would be a terrible example. We would get so much flack.
You're the one. You're the one who's like some evil country, Vatican. Maybe I'm struggling to think of other ones.
If I was comparing the Vatican to the Empire, then yes, that would be the point that I was making. But I'm saying it is confusing. I'm not saying the rebels are bad people. I'm saying that it's confusing why the rebels pose as diplomats and open fire on imperial authorities.
Why they are clearly in the wrong. They then open fire. And then they played the diplomacy card.
I'm saying
they should have played the diplomacy card first.
Yes,
absolutely.
This
is the beginning of a
no, because Vader knows that the Death Star plans are on there. So no, they shouldn't have done that.
The real question is why she bothers with the diplomacy plan at all.
That's the point. Yeah,
she should have abandoned it. It's the beginning of a trend throughout George Lucas's work, where the logistics of the plans that are made, they feel fine when you're watching the film. When you actually start to break it down, it's like, why did they do that?
Yeah, what's the... Yeah,
this
happens multiple times.
Is like Jabba's palace.
Yes.
I feel where they're running like 4 simultaneous separate plans to free Han.
And it gets everyone captured.
Yeah, and you get the sense that none of them have talked to one another. It's very similar to how this film opens, where it's like, oh, we need an action set piece. But now we need a reason for why he doesn't kill Leia.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I think it works. It's clunky. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's like, it's fine. It's a Hail Mary from Leia.
Well, and then there's the other two things that are more of it just makes me mad at the Rogue One people and not that has nothing to do with the New Hope. No, but it had something Vader says
40 years later.
Dude, Are you saying that they?
No,
So
no, go ahead.
so look, if
I
you're
just
if
didn't
you're
realize
if
you were
you're
doing Rogue One.
no, if you're a
That's all.
legislator, no, hold on, hold on,
That's all I'm
hold on,
saying.
hold on,
I
hold
thought
on.
we were doing Star Wars.
If you're an elected official or a legislator who is trying to craft new law,
Yeah.
right? Wouldn't it be helpful to know what the current law says? So if
You'd
you're
think.
making a new
You'd think, but
story,
you'd be wrong. You'd be wrong.
Well, I would
actually.
be? Okay.
You'd think.
Okay.
You'd be surprised at the quality.
I would, and guess
of
what?
our elected
There are
representatives.
good legislators and bad legislators. There's
true.
good pieces of legislation and bad pieces of legislation. I happen to like Rogue One. The problem is,
I didn't say anything
the
bad about
problem
Rogue
is,
One.
no, you just don't want me to talk about it at all.
I just said we're not talking about it.
Vader says that
It's a separate film.
Vader says that several
Different movie.
transmissions were tracked to the ship,
Yeah.
and that's how he knows that the plans are on the Death Star, or on the plans are on the Tantive 4.
Yeah.
That's not how they got there. He says this ship got transmissions. That's not how that worked. They had a whole scene at the end of the movie where the plans go physically from the main ship to the Tantive 4.
Right.
And he's following them. So, like, why did she think we're on a diplomatic mission? She left the Battle of Scarif, fleeing with the Death Star plans. And it's like, yeah, we're on a diplomatic mission. Sure. And then he says, like, oh, I've tracked her. She is my link to the secret rebel base. Whenever he just came from a battle where he captured this massive flagship where he could, I don't know, trace it back to where they were, or even if they deleted it, interrogate and torture all the people on board to try to figure out where they go. Like, she's not your only link to the rebellion anymore. You have all these hundreds of thousands of people that you've just captured in space.
Yeah.
So I'm just upset with the Rogue One people. You got to read your own stuff before you make your own story. You
Rogue
gotta,
One, yeah, didn't tie cohesively in every way.
No, it's cool like seeing her ship leave and then starting A New Hope and it picks up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I watched it. I've seen this movie so many times. And it was only till today that I was like, there's multiple things here that don't line up. And it has like George Lucas had this happen multiple times, where it's like I love these movies, but in Return of the Jedi, the plan makes no sense. The first 20 minutes of the movie, it's like, okay, this is fun action, whatever. We have to get Han back. Cool.
It's the strongest indicator that these movies are for kids.
Yeah.
Like Lucas dies on that hill. He'll say these are kids' movies. If he's making suggestions to like the modern creators of Star Wars, he'll tell them straight up, just hey, they're kids' movies. Don't forget they're kids' movies. This is the kind of thing that he means. The content of the politics of the movies, they're surface level. They're not particularly deep or revolutionary or nuanced. It's a generic evil empire versus an unambiguously good rebel force that never does anything questionable.
Well, and now, but we have to think about it through the lens of: are we looking at this from 50 years on? What was this story like 50 years ago?
I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying
we're not saying that.
There are all of these moments
wanna
where
die.
you prioritize short-term action. It might not make the most sense, but it looks cool. There's a lot of scenes like that. And it's not a problem. But it is just, oh yeah, these are kids' movies. Similar to, how we were digging into like K-pop Demon Hunters.
Yeah.
For some of the minor logistical things in that film that don't make the most sense. It's like, well, it is a kids' movie. You have to give it some grace in ways you might not give like a mystery or a thriller that's intended for a more adult audience where the internal cohesion is more essential. I think this film is a good example of a film that unapologetically lionizes a rebellion. I do think that it gets there by never making them do anything even a little bit questionable or giving them bad policies. Right? Like they're not rebelling with a set vision of a new economic policy or a radically inconceivable government structure or to reestablish a monarchy. They're kind of just like saying, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we stopped doing fascism and we did representative democracy? It's like, who's going to disagree? Like it's not something we're going to disagree with. He talks a lot in interviews about how it's like, oh yeah, we based them off like the Viet Cong, but it's like if you look at the content of their policies, they're the American Revolution. It's we should have a little republic here.
Yeah.
It's like it's not a problem. Not saying it's a problem. It's a film that lionizes the Revolutionary Rebellion, but then gives them policies that everybody watching the film would probably agree with.
Yeah.
It keeps it surface level in that sense. They're never talking about tax codes or
Well,
anything like that.
and that's what's so hard for me because like it is hard for me to separate this movie from everything else.
Hmm.
I think about Rogue One, I think about the Clone Wars, I think about Andor.
Yeah.
That adds all of those layers of complexity.
It's true.
With,
yeah, it's all there.
with the different.
But it's built out in the prequels with the Trade Federation and then Andor and Rogue One and all these extra books and such.
Well, you have the sects of
It
the
is
rebellion
there.
that are committing war crimes, and you have
Right.
the battle in the Senate that's happening in Andor.
And you do have that moral complexity. It's just it's in stuff they've added later. Again, it's a foundation. I think if we're just taking the film for what it is, I mean, did Luke ever have another option? You know, they kill his parents, they burn his house. You know, it's a good lesson to modern governments. Hey, if you kill random people's parents and burn their houses down, they will become terrorists. They will hunt your government down. They will wage war against it because they are incapable of building something for themselves. You know, if Luke comes home and his house is burned down and all his like moisture farm equipment is burned up, it's like, what's he gonna do? He can't make a living anymore. You know, does he have an option other than joining the rebellion? I'm not saying that is a writing flaw. I'm just saying, you know, it's a real world analogy where it's like we probably shouldn't pursue policies that box people into corners where their only viable option for survival is fighting us. We're fighting an empire, fighting a government.
Yeah, the fact that it's the Empire and not like the Tusken Raiders or something.
Right.
Like they're the ones who actually do it to where
Yeah.
they cause this whole thing.
It makes it again where it's simplistic. Luke is an idealist. You know, he's just purely good. He doesn't have any significant flaws. There's never a scene where the rebellion is like, yeah, we're gonna purge all the Imperials or something.
Well, I mean, besides the scene where they blow up the Death Star and kill billions of people.
They do.
Yeah.
They blow up the
But
Death
they did
Star.
it first.
Yeah. That really is kind of the moral equation, I think, of the film. It's
You destroy Alderaan, we're going to destroy the thing that destroyed Alderaan.
well, and now we've prevented it from destroying other planets in the future. So it's this situation where it's unambiguously the right thing to do. You know, there's basically no moral philosophy that can weasel its way into blowing up the nuclear death machine that kills entire planets is the unethical position. You know, and it's like, yeah. Again, I'm rambling.
That's what we're going to do with this one. That's what I mean. We love
You've
these movies.
seen the
We
film.
love these movies.
You know
like,
the film.
These are my favorite movies of all time. Star Wars is far and away biased, and from a biased perspective and unbiased perspective, my favorite movies ever.
So we've talked about the politics of the film.
Yeah,
a little
briefly,
bit.
Yeah.
What do you like about the film? Let's take that angle. Talk more about that.
Is it weird that it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly?
Well, because I think it's foundational.
Yeah.
We don't often examine the foundations or the fundamentals of something. We spend our time in like Andor, the extended universe, and these fringes of the world that are built up.
Yes.
This
Because
is the
they're new.
foundation.
They're new and they're complex.
Exactly.
And being like politically minded, historically minded, like I find that stuff interesting. I mean, I don't know. They've always just been a constant. Where I've always watched these movies. They're very nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the movie.
Yeah.
Like I mean, they joke about how the dialogue was really poor or whatever, and they had to change some stuff as they were going through production.
The finished film, though, it doesn't have too many clunky lines.
No,
the script does,
especially when you place it in the middle of the 70s.
Yes,
like it's
better.
It's way better than a lot of the movies in the 70s.
Yeah,
you watch it now, and it's like this isn't tough to get through.
Yeah.
So even the original ones before they did all the changes with CGI and everything, and it was the first movie, and it was written. This is going to be a start and end. We may not make any more of these.
Yeah.
So it was just a fun space adventure, which is why you don't have some of the big, massive problems that it's trying to tackle. Of how did we get here? You know, what holds this rebellion together? What's Luke going to do? What's, you know, what now that Ben's gone and all that stuff? Where did Ben go whenever he died? Like all this stuff. Like they set it all up, but they he wrote it to where he could end it there, and it's totally fine.
Yeah.
And he wrote it with the idea. I mean, he didn't know that Vader was Luke's father yet. They
Right.
didn't know that Leia and Luke were siblings yet. So
Which is insane, by the way.
it's so hard for me to just look. I know, and it's the fact that he didn't know either of those things. I mean, you have a couple major complications later on because of that.
Yeah.
But as a whole, to have some of that stuff not even figured out yet, and then for the trilogy to still be really, really solid, that says something.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's also a movie with incredible effects.
Yeah.
I know we talk about that a lot. It's a cliche for the film, but the movie looks incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, the practical effects were cutting edge. They hold up to this day, and it's not the kind of film where you return to it and it's rough around the edges. It just looks good.
No, the trench run scene is one of the best scenes in movie history to
Yeah.
this day.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So, and a lot of this stuff, like we may not be saying, it's just we just kind of understand that people
Yeah.
talk about this, like the special effects, like they were groundbreaking. We wouldn't have the movies we have today without it. Or the cultural impact or any of this other stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's Star Wars: A New Hope. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, but back to the political type of implications, it seems like they're layering a lot on top of each other.
Okay.
Because you have like the emperor in the background, who like he abolishes the Senate, which is a lot like the kings in Europe would do.
Yeah.
And consolidating power kind of reminds you of, and his rise, whenever you look at it through the whole story, it's kind of like Napoleon, where he goes into and then he consolidates later, turns a republic into an empire.
Yeah. Very much so.
And then you have a completely different conflict with the American Revolution that's very similar there. So it's hard to kind of pin down what is the comparable here. It kind of reminds you of the French Revolution in a way.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't want the monarchy anymore. And then they just keep stumbling into problems, which you get in the sequel trilogy, which whatever,
Again,
that's whatever. We'll leave that alone.
Separate films. Not talking about those films.
But I just wonder, is the moral of the story just that history repeats itself? It doesn't matter where, when, how, it's going to happen. And the themes are going to happen in major conflicts that we see in human history. Like elements of almost every major one are in there.
Yeah.
Or the themes of it.
I think this is kind of I've always interpreted the film as a, maybe a colony's perspective on the empire. It's kind of a third world perspective looking in on the Central Empire, right? Like the average, rebel fighter in the Middle East or Vietnam, they're not going to see, the Queen of England. They might hear about her. They might hear about Parliament. But who they're meeting, it's the generals. It's the soldiers. It's the people that are coming into their villages and shooting them and taking their stuff. The rebels, they meet the rebel leaders. They meet the leaders of their movements. They meet the people who want to establish a republic and chase out this distant empire and the distant emperor and his distant, dissolved, semi-functioning Senate. But I think that's a perspective that helps me open up the film a little bit. Just the sense of, this might be how a person in a colony would view the empire back home in England. I found that view to be helpful to opening it up. I feel like you don't really get some of the internal workings until the prequel trilogy, the Clone Wars show, Andor especially. It's only then that you get kind of the internal view of like, maybe this is how somebody in Germany would have reacted to the rise of the Nazis. I feel like so much of 4, 5, and 6, it's like, this is how somebody in Vietnam would have reacted to the French, or the Americans coming in. They probably would have, built camouflaged forts and relied on hit and run tactics and blended in with the forest and attacked with more simplistic weapons against these clunky machines that the foreign empire is bringing in. But then you get stuff like Andor, and it's like, this is how French people would probably respond to their government becoming evil. Like, I think we get there with so much of the extended universe. I think 4, 5, and 6 are more remote. I guess, in their view of the Empire. I think that makes like meeting Palpatine so much more impactful. It's almost more interesting, I think, that we don't see Palpatine in some other projects, like Andor, um, because that is so focused on the internal state of things. You know, you're in the Senate,
Mm-hmm.
you're getting scenes there, you're getting the speeches. It's strange that he doesn't show up.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure like what canonically he's doing
Yeah.
during those years, but like Andor specifically is like many years. But it does. I
Yes.
mean, it does lend credibility to the scene where Tarkin says that he abolished the Imperial Senate. Over
Mm.
time, he took away its power.
Yeah.
So if it's not powerful, why does it need to be there?
Yeah.
Whereas in Revenge of the Sith, he's like constantly in the Senate.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. These are fantastic movies, and
That's what it boils down
that's
to.
what it boils down to. Like
good
it's
films.
very. I don't know. It's tough, but I was thinking as you were talking about that, a lot of the movies we've done deal with colonialism
Yeah.
and revolution, and just
Yeah.
oppressors oppressing people. Hunger Games, Star Wars, Avatar.
Yeah.
There's probably some other ones too, but like that's a consistent theme that happens. Either they're invading and conquering another people, or it already exists and people are rising up in that way, in which they have to rise
Yeah.
up against the status quo. And those are different because in Avatar, the humans are attacking the planet,
Yes.
and so the Na'vi have to resist. But
Yeah.
this isn't been. It's not like it's been generationally impounded into them and gradually grounded down, to where it would be almost insane to try to start a rebellion because you're not organized, you're separated, they've been intentionally keeping everyone separate. And so those are two different forms of fighting colonialism and rising up into a rebellion. Yeah, I don't know. It's like half of our episodes have been about either colonialism or revolution.
It is an omnipresent theme. I think a lot of people they want to identify with the rebels. They want to, see them as the good guy. It's why every other story is about plucky rebels fighting this evil empire. I think there's a reticence to viewing your own society as maybe kind of opportunistic or imperialist. I don't know. I think we tend to identify more with stories that are like from the colonized perspective, Avatar, um, Star Wars. I think there's a real hesitancy sometimes to engage with stuff like, maybe the Hunger Games is a bad example, but the stories that frame what if this was your society doing this to you instead of what if you were a rebel and some other society was encroaching upon
Like
you.
you're talking about like 1984?
A little bit, yeah. Like that kind
Like
of
there's more of a
thing.
hesitancy to engage with that?
There's more of a hesitancy, I think, to identify with it.
Okay.
To be like, yes, it's like that. That's how it is. That's like real life. I think sometimes there's an element in it that makes us uncomfortable with it. And we come away with it saying something more like, that would suck. That would be awful. It's like, well, that's happening.
Yeah.
Maybe not to you, maybe not today.
Well, and then you take
But
it a
it is
step further
happening.
and then think about what if your country was doing this to other people?
Yeah.
And not only what if we showed you what's currently happening or what happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, 100 years ago
Yeah.
that your country actually did.
Right.
Like that makes you even more uncomfortable, especially whenever you're talking
Yeah.
about like the global infrastructure, the global economy and all the things that make it to where America's on top. And you start examining that, and now you're living in that environment, and you're also thriving off of that.
Yeah.
So that's another layer where you don't want to put yourself in the colonizer's shoes.
I think if we ever do like put ourselves in the colonized shoes, it's when there's a safe distance. Like there's not a whole lot of films about what it's like to be, a Native American when the Europeans are encroaching and kicking you off the land. Those exist, but I think oftentimes they exist because there's there's a distance. There's the sense in which nothing can be done anymore about it. You go see like Pocahontas, and you're like, man, it sucks that those people are gone now, but this does not require me to do anything or change anything because in the mind of the average viewer, those people don't functionally exist anymore. I think very rarely does somebody watch a movie like that and think there are people right now in Native American reservations across the US who struggle to get access to jobs and infrastructure and healthcare. That's almost never the takeaway. Oftentimes people will do like the land acknowledgments, and they'll be like, yeah, we live on land that was taken from the, fill in the blank nation of whatever land it was. I've never seen a movement that was like, hey, yeah, we're building roads and schools on this Native American reservation. Nobody wants to do that. I think there's a hesitancy to it. I think if we ever engage with the concept that our society did something negative, we engage with it in terms of that happened in the past and it does not require anything from me now.
Yeah, and you have I know there's been a kind of a controversy with the new Ken Burns documentary about the American Revolution and him
Okay.
portraying more about what happened with the Native American peoples
Hmm.
and I think slavery too he covered as well.
Yeah.
But there's a tendency to tell the story of the American Revolution, tying it back to this movie, where we tell a story that happened in that time period, but we isolate it by itself.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the 13 colonies were fighting against the evil empire. It's like, yeah, but like, what did they do 100 and 150 years to create the 13 colonies? And what were those 13 colonies about to do to get all the way to the Pacific Ocean?
Yeah.
So it's like history is complicated. Like we get that, all that stuff, but we tend to just flat out ignore it.
Yeah.
And just say, no, it's not complicated. It's like, oh, the 13 colonies, they were there.
Yeah.
They just poofed into existence, and we had to defend them. We had to.
Yeah.
Because they were attacking our sovereignty and we weren't getting the right to vote and all that stuff.
To be fair, once those people exist, they do have to defend themselves.
Absolutely.
They might not have chosen to immigrate to the New World, but once you're born and raised in the New World, it is unreasonable to assume the entire population should commit some kind of noble, suicide to be viewed favorably in the eyes of history.
Yeah, but then the takeaway to be like, yeah, the 13 colonies, okay, they were there.
They were there. No reason why.
And then you start the story from there.
Yeah.
And you never talk about the before, or you never talk about the expansion west, or anything like that. So it's just only taking one side of the story.
I guess how many films have you seen where the premise is guy lives in an evil empire and goes to his day job and works and sees the things that his government does on the news, and he never changes and he never does anything? It's like, well, those films don't get made. The film is either we did something bad in the past, whoops, or aren't rebels awesome? Isn't it fun to identify with them?
Well, I think that was kind of what made Andor interesting.
It is.
Where you had that plot thread of the ISB, of Cyril, and having them have to come to terms with what the Empire is, and then ultimately them deciding, this is fine. Up until like the very end, like they're like, we're gonna have our own happy life within this infrastructure, until the massacre near the end, where they both end up dying. Or Cyril ends up dying. So, but that was just one thread. That wasn't the overall story. I mean, I guess Cassian is just the way that he is, and he just channels who he is into the rebellion. He doesn't change all that much.
Yeah.
But he is channeling it against the Empire.
I think one of the things that makes Andor's so good. We tried.
Andor's good.
We tried.
It's all connected. Star Wars is all connected. You can't separate it.
One of the things that makes Andor really good is I'm trying to think of the best way to word it. Andor is a very versatile character. On the one hand, he is he's from an indigenous population that's displaced from the Empire. But then he's raised in this mining town. And so with Andor, you get multiple perspectives in the same character. You get the peripheral. I'm on the periphery of the Empire, being pushed off my land, my traditional way of life. But then you also get the perspective of the guy who does have to show up to work, who does have, the 9-to-5 mining job, and who has to keep the lights on, who has family, who has to sidestep the stormtroopers on his way to work, who has to not get on their bad side.
Oh, and then eventually you get the Andor that has to navigate the halls of power on Coruscant.
Yes.
And you're living a lot of that vicariously through Mon Mothma and all them,
Yeah.
but he does engage with it very closely. And so he goes from being displaced by the Empire
Yeah.
to the mining town to the very height of power and then crumbling and watching it crumble.
Yeah.
So, and he's just kind of a witness for some of it.
You really do get kind of just all these different perspectives in the one character. You get the tourist perspective, you get the prisoner perspective, you get the soldier perspective, you get the spy's perspective. And through him, you come into contact with the other people. You do get the senator's perspective. You get all these other workers, all these other people floating through space. You get their perspectives on reality and the empire.
And it's all miserable for everybody.
Yes.
And that's the tone the entire time. There's no like fun moment that just sticks out to me about Andor.
Yes.
It's all miserable. For the Empire? Yeah. For the Empire and
right.
the rebels.
Yes, it's very much
rebels.
A miserable story at times where just extended periods go by and nothing positive happens.
No.
I think Andor, it kind of fulfills the promise of the original trilogy. I like the original trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is a good thing to be writing and telling, anti-imperialist movies in the 70s. It's a good thing. Imperialism, it doesn't work out. It enriches a very small subset of people, and it impoverishes and it immiserates millions consistently. And I think that that's wrong. It's not. It shouldn't be controversial to say plunging millions of people into poverty for the sake of a cloistered elite. That shouldn't be controversial. I don't think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I think Star Wars, the original trilogy, it paints kind of a simplified view of that. And it paints it on the outside. If somebody came into your society and started blowing stuff up, how would you react? It's like, well, I would fight. It's like, that's easy to say. It's easy to identify with the rebels. I think it's tougher to accept the idea that your society might have something wrong with it.
Yeah.
That you would have to work to fight against in your local community, right? At your job, with your government, not some foreign government that's trying to conquer you, your government.
Yeah.
I think Andor, it places the viewer in that position. And I think that that's part of the reason that it evoked such strong responses from people.
Yeah.
It's not vicarious identification with some distant rebel group a long time ago, and far away. It's, what if this was you and you had to navigate this? How would you do?
Well, because
what would you do? Would you have the courage to?
Yeah, it set the story in the mundane.
Yeah.
It's like the power of just the mundane day-to-day grind and dealing with the apathy of everyone around Cassian.
Yeah.
And the active fighting of, why are you doing this? Just keep your head down, keep living your life, and everything will be okay. And so it's trying to start a revolution in that world, where imagine you're doing it literally like how you are now. You see the people clock in, clock out.
Yes.
Like you see them eating cereal.
Yeah.
On Coruscant and stuff. You see him engaging with his mom. You see Daedra, I think is her name. She's talking to her mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Like it's very grounded in that way.
Would you resist your evil government if you had to eat cereal at the kitchen table and listen to your mom talk about a relative that you don't like very much? Or would you kind of clock out? Would you resist the evil government if you had to go to work and impress your boss before sitting at your cubicle desk?
Yeah.
It's like, probably not. Most people probably wouldn't.
No.
Because most people aren't.
Well, because
that's what it boils down to.
It puts a lid on because you're focused on what's in front of you. I need the promotion at work.
Yeah.
I need to maintain my relationship with my mom. I need to make sure my marriage is doing okay.
Right.
I need to set myself up and all that stuff. Or in his case, Cyril's doing an investigation. It goes poorly, so he gets demoted, and he's really demoralized.
Yeah.
And then you have the excitement of him getting married or meeting somebody. It's just it's very grounded in that way.
Yeah.
And you hear people talk about it all the time that it's like, just if you keep people focused, if you're a government, you keep people focused on what's in front of them, and you make it seem like the economy's not the government's fault, or the you have like the price of bread or whatever could be controlled by the government, but the fact that the bread's rationed,
Right.
or the fact that you don't your good the goods you have aren't as good or whatever, or you mask all the terrible things because life is so good.
Mm,
You just keep it all hidden and keep people focused on what's in front of them, and they won't rise up in rebellion because they're too busy
yeah.
and they don't care enough to risk their family or risk their life that they have. Um, Not about A New
Yeah.
Hope, but
And I'm not saying hey, A New Hope is a bad film because
no,
it's not willing to grapple with what you personally would do in every second of the French Revolution when it's your city and you live there all the time.
I liked when you called it a
It's
foundation.
yeah.
It is the foundation in which everything else
Yeah.
all this stuff can exist, the good and the
Yes.
bad. But we can recognize that it's bad because we have what started. We
Yes.
love like where what A New Hope did, what the other movies in the original trilogy did, even what the prequel movies did. Like it was all the groundwork for everything. So you
Mm,
have something to is this Star Wars or is this not?
yeah.
This is how you figure out what's Star Wars and what's not by comparing it to this movie. Um,
Yeah.
so it doesn't have to be all that complicated.
It's fine. I mean, I like the film a lot. I love the movie. I like its politics. At the end of the day, I think it's a great foundation. I think it's very easy for an audience to identify positively with a farmer whose parents and house and land and means of cultivating the land are all burned by an evil empire. It's like that's tougher to find a more sympathetic character.
So
That's pretty cut and dry. I like this dude. He's nice. He's a good character. He's well meaning. He wants to see the world. And he's just lost everything. He has nothing left. Like, and then he meets an old guy who gives him a laser sword. Yeah, I'm
it's
in.
pretty cool.
I'm
Yeah,
in.
where are we
I'm
going?
so sympathetic
even
to
care.
this guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
it's tougher to. It doesn't require anything of you to like him,
Mm-mm.
to become invested in that story.
Yeah, sympathize with him and see where he's gonna go.
I think some of the later stuff that builds on the foundation, it starts asking questions like, "What would you do if your society was beginning to be corrupted, beginning to backslide on its freedoms?" And there's some tougher moral questions there. I think the Clone Wars asks it at its best, not all the time, but at
Yeah.
its best.
Yes. At its
At its
best.
best, the
At
show
its
gets there.
absolutely.
Andor's consistently firing on all cylinders there, and I think you get it with stuff like Solo. I do. I think you get it. I think you get it with the
Ooh.
prequels. I think you get it with Rogue One. I think you get it even a little bit with something like early seasons in The Mandalorian. I think Star Wars at its best asks you the question of how would you act if the government was corrupted or corrupting and you were put in a situation where acting ethical was very hard. That I think is the series at its best. I don't think that A New Hope gets there, but I think it lays the foundation to
Yeah.
start having those conversations, which
Yeah.
I think is commendable. And that coupled with its, this mythic plot structure, the hero's journey encapsulated perfectly, mixed with the special effects, it just creates this iconic story that's impossible to rival.
Yeah.
Even if it's simple, it's mythic in its quality.
Well, and I like all the settings. I like all the um yeah, I like the sets and the characters and all the detail that they put into it. I love the Death Star.
Yeah,
I like all the scenes that they have in the Death Star.
such a good concept.
Yeah, where they're rescuing the princess. Like they have
Mm.
multiple objectives.
Yeah.
Like you have to rescue the princess, and now we're gonna blow this thing up. And you put Luke in a cockpit, and he blows up the Death Star. Like it's just fun. It's
Yeah.
just a fun movie. Who's your favorite character in this movie?
Oh,
Because you have people who like
that's a
Luke,
tough one.
You have people who like Han and Chewie
In this movie.
In this movie, but that's so like yeah. Okay.
In this movie,
Let's lead it to this movie.
I'm gonna say Luke.
Okay.
He gets the most screen time. He has a perfect arc. The fact that he blows up the Death Star, but he does it with the guiding computer off, and he just guides it with the Force, and he hears Obi-Wan's voice. It is so good, so good.
Yeah.
It's perfect. Because it's a rejection of not only of the Death Star and of fascism and all of that. It's this rejection of a soul-crushing reliance on modernity. It's not just, oh, I'm a modern guy and I know how to use modern tech. There is a higher way of living than what the current system is offering me. It's not just tech, right? Because Tarkin, he's looking at all these computers. You see all these teams of people and scientists and engineers and mechanics facilitating firing the Death Star. And then you just see Luke turn his guidance computer off, and he's guided by the Force. It's this rejection of modern life's encroachment on every facet of nature. Um, it's most minute regulation of our souls. It's just it's so good. It's a perfect arc.
Yeah.
Han's good too. I feel like Han's a bit simpler.
But
He's a side character.
He has a lot of character growth, and
He
by that I
does.
mean like how good of a guy he is.
Yeah.
Luke matures and he does grand things. He goes from trying to find moisture in the ground in Tatooine to blowing up the Death Star almost single handedly.
Yeah.
But Han like has a change of heart in the movie, and Luke
Yes.
doesn't seem to have that same thing to the same degree.
Yeah.
I like Obi-Wan's my favorite overall.
Okay.
But
interesting.
Yeah, he's overall he's my favorite.
His death is like the midpoint of the film.
I know. And
it's the turning of the whole plot.
In the original trilogy, I don't know. He's not as good to me as he is in the prequels and the Clone Wars.
That's fair.
Because the main thing that he does, he guides Luke.
Yeah.
He fights Vader, and he helps train Luke, but he lies to him.
Yeah.
And we don't have time to get into all of this, but that stems from the attitude that the Jedi Order had in the prequel trilogy, and like what Yoda had in the Jedi's pride, and being unwilling to see what was right in front of them with Emperor Palpatine because of their hubris and everything. And Obi-Wan thinking, oh, I can just lie to him. I'll control the narrative.
Within the context of this film, though, like if you were seeing it for the first time in 1977, you wouldn't come away with that impression.
No.
You'd
no,
be
you
like,
wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, I just don't know if I can say in this movie, well, Obi-Wan's my favorite. I like Han a lot. I like Han a lot.
I think Han provides a fun mix because it asks you to identify with the drug smuggler who murders people in bars.
Yeah.
Over the established government, which is working to bring order. It's like, that's a big ask. That's substantial. I think one of the ways that the ethics of the film it has proven to like evolve with time is that's what they edit when they re-release the film. They don't have Han shoot first. It is a huge ask to modern audiences to ask them to sympathize with a guy who shoots somebody else point blank unjustified in a bar. So you have Greedo shoot first. You have it be self-defense. It plays a bit easier to modern audiences, and I think some of the tension that we see there with like, did Han shoot first? Did he not shoot first?
Was he unjustified?
I think you only make that edit if you fear Han was unjustified.
Well, you fear that other people will think that it's unjustifiable.
And so I think initially the film, it's a huge swing. Hey, there's this drug smuggler and he kills people and he's bad. But he comes back at the end of the film. He doesn't abandon his friends.
Yeah,
he's a good person, right?
Yeah, they put that in there. George Lucas put that in there to.
That's tough.
Yeah, he put that in there to tell you this is where he's at.
Yeah.
So that at the end of the movie you can see how far he's gone and how far he's came.
It's so good.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
but they edit it. They edit it in modern editions. I'm not trying to become a stickler for like the special editions. I think it's interesting that's what they edit.
Yeah, what they choose to edit. Yeah.
Why do you choose to edit the thing that makes him unjustified in the eyes of modern audiences? What's wrong with having him be a murderer? What's wrong with that? Why does it make us,
even if that's what they think,
so uncomfortable? It's like the criminal in the outer fringes of society who hangs out at awful seedy bars all the time might do something that we don't agree with. Like, yeah, he probably will.
Right.
You don't have to like him, but you do have to acknowledge, hey, he's grown since the beginning of the film. And maybe there are moments in history where gigantic empires are toppled by people you might find morally disagreeable.
Yeah, or you wouldn't necessarily want to have dinner with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you want to know what else is unjustifiable? Obi-Wan pulling out his lightsaber for the first time in 20 years to deal with some random dude.
Just, no.
Yeah, the cantina reminded me of it.
Just yeah,
Have you seen Kenobi?
I have
It's hard to separate this movie from the other ones. But
not Kenobi,
you spent 20.
not Kenobi.
Huh? You haven't seen
It's
Kenobi?
no, well, it's easy for me to separate it. Nothing happens.
But
It's a big
I know,
circle.
but he makes it he's so focused on making sure no one knows he's a Jedi.
That does not
Now he's
factor
about to
into
leave.
my
Now
calculus for this film at all.
Why? We just view Star Wars differently. Then that's okay.
No,
It's okay. It's okay.
No,
I'm not saying I'm right and you're wrong. I'm just saying we view it differently.
That's true. That is true. that's true. I'm just defending my position.
No,
as
I think that's
feasible.
totally fine. And he's about to leave.
Canon Star Wars to me is good Star Wars.
But okay, let me think
It
about
has
this.
to
Let
be
me think
good.
about this for a second. So they come into town on the speeder
Yeah.
and they talk to the stormtroopers.
Mhm.
Right? There's stormtroopers and an Imperial presence on Tatooine
Yes.
because of the droids.
Mhm.
He then brings out his lightsaber in town, and you're telling me no one from the cantina was like, word didn't get around? Like, yeah, these are people who don't want to deal with the Empire because they're all criminals anyway.
They
But
left like right after.
what?
They left.
Well, yeah, but they did. But Obi-Wan didn't know they were going to be able to get a ship at the time that quickly
That's true.
because he hadn't met with Han yet.
That's another thing, I guess, similar to maybe the beginning of the film, where it's like it doesn't quite make sense when you think about it. The logistics of it, because if he had cut off the guy's hand and Han had said no, is he then trying to haggle his way off the planet with the lightsaber? It's like that price went up. Yeah, you're paying everything now. Hey, we're smuggling a Jedi off world, and there's all these stormtroopers here for some reason. You know,
Yeah, the fact that Han doesn't really care.
and is that a mistake that the wise mentor would make? Not really. But you get the impression. Again, we're looking back at the film with everything we know. If you're watching this for the first time in 77, you assume a lightsaber is something some people have. It might not be that rare. Jedis might be rare. Lightsabers might not be rare. It is, you can imagine, hey, maybe the special ops have lightsabers. Maybe rich people have lightsabers. Maybe some governments have militaries that utilize lightsabers.
You're saying whenever you watch this for the first time.
First time,
Okay.
1977.
Yes.
You probably are not coming away with the impression of, oh, him using his lightsaber signals that he is A, a fugitive from the government, unquestionably, and B, super rare.
Yeah.
You're probably
Sure.
not coming away with
Sure.
that impression at the time.
I mean,
But
you get
you
the
do
idea that it
looking
is
back.
rare and that it is
Yeah.
that is kind of a
You get that. You get the impression. You don't get the impression that's like a gigantic, irreversible mistake that he has used his lightsaber in a bar.
Sorry, I'm looking at
You're
something.
pulling up the scene in the film.
I'm pulling up the scene of the film to look at something else. But it's in the
You're
cantina.
Struggling to remember the details of Star Wars.
Yes. And I think in this case it's totally fine.
I feel like you should know every single alien in the cantina by name.
Really? By name?
By name? Why not?
Luke has the lightsaber hanging from his belt. When he talks to the stormtroopers, he has the lightsaber hanging from his belt.
Okay, that's pretty funny. That's pretty good.
Never noticed that. I've seen this movie so many times, and I've never noticed that when he's sitting there, he just has like a lightsaber sitting right there on his leg. Like Obi-Wan's always made sense because he's in Jedi robes, or he's in like a tunic or something to protect against the desert or something. It's not that out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
You know? But it's just right there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And the stormtroopers don't ask questions? And you're going to tell me that's because of the helmets?
Obi-Wan,
They can't see because of the
he does
helmets?
Jedi mind trick. He makes them go away.
When the stormtrooper walks up and he just doesn't notice the lightsaber?
I don't know what to tell you.
Whatever. Okay. He does the mind trick pretty quick. He does the mind trick pretty quick. As soon as the guy walks up, he's just like, you're done. These are the droids you're
They
looking for. You're
weren't
done.
looking for lightsabers.
If one's sitting right there on the driver, you're telling me that they're not checking for weapons?
It's flimsy.
You're telling me...
I acknowledge it. It's flimsy.
They're not checking for
it's
any
not
sort
my
of
best
weapons?
argument.
Like, you're not checking to see if the guy is, like, hiding a gun or something? Like, a blaster?
Yeah, well, because if you're, like, a cop and you pull somebody over...
What's the first thing you're
yeah,
going to
and
notice?
You're like, they're speeding, you pull them over. You just look inside and see the guy with the gigantic rifle across his lap, and you're like, "Hi, you're speeding." It's like, well, now you're probably gonna start with the why do you have a gigantic weapon out? Why does the guy in the passenger
This
seat?
is now
Why is he pointing that
superseded.
at me?
Yeah, the immediacy of this
it's
problem.
speeding's gone.
It's now, yes, like we need the droids,
Yeah.
and those are gonna still be here.
Right,
What is that?
Yeah, we're gonna take away the lightsaber first.
Right.
Then we're gonna ask the questions about the droids.
Now he does like walk up. Maybe Obi-Wan's like looking down at the lightsaber, and he's like, "Hold." on."
I don't think they're even thinking about that in the film.
Of course not. Like
They're
that's the problem. Is that this movie? All this is fine.
Yeah.
Everything's fine in this movie. It's like, oh, Luke got his lightsaber. He's carrying it around like it's his dad's lightsaber. He's taking it with him. He's not coming back. He's taking everything that he has with him.
Yeah.
Of value that he wants to take. So it's not a problem if you're just watching this movie. But it's like the Star Wars nerd in my head is like, there's no way he would be carrying that around with Imperial stormtroopers everywhere. Like if it was just Tatooine, he probably isn't flashing that thing.
You know what I'm hearing right now?
What are you hearing?
I'm hearing that we should remake Star Wars Episode 4 so that we can iron out all of these tiny plot inconsistencies.
They did that like 4 times. They called them the special editions, and they didn't change anything that mattered.
We just talked about Greedo shooting first.
They didn't
talked about
They
that.
didn't change.
We just had a discussion about the ethics of a scene fundamentally changing.
They didn't change anything for the better, is what I mean.
Okay, that's true.
They didn't. All the issues that actually matter, like that in the existing film, they didn't change in the special editions.
Out the lightsaber. I'm just hearing remake Episode 4, please.
Yes.
Please remake the film with
no, actually, I can't say that.
de-aged actors. Please pay them nothing in royalties.
Oh man!
Please give everybody the ChatGPT voice. Release it in theaters. It would make $30 billion. Do you have anything you want to add to that?
To that
specifically. I'm just spitballing ideas
no. As
here.
long as we make sure that we don't pay the actors' estates. That's a good addition. Or the living actors.
I knew you'd come in. You'd come in
the clutch. I'm always thinking about the money.
How could we remake this movie in the worst possible way for society and everyone involved?
And for the plot. Yeah.
That's a good one.
But we remove the lightsaber. And we say, I watched you guys take the plans onto the ship. I killed every single one of you trying to get the plans, and I saw you leave the battle.
It sounds like the AI upscaled version. Of A New Hope. It sounds like that'd be your ideal way of watching the movie.
It would be. Okay, sue me.
Okay, I might. That's egregious.
That's fine.
That's the worst thing I've heard anybody ever say.
I'm wearing a Star Wars hat. Okay.
An artist drew that.
Yes. Well, no, I went on my way to make sure it was AI. I searched for only AI shops. And
the concept of filtering
you have the filter. Oh man, the prices are so much cheaper.
I've literally never heard somebody say that before.
I don't know why. You're saving so much money.
Okay, this is a.
So okay, is there any other changes we need to make to this AI Star Wars?
I'm sure there are.
I think you just change the hue of Darth Vader's lightsaber to make it pink.
Make it pink.
Yeah. Why not? Like, and just say it was like, oh, it was like a film issue. You're dealing with older film, and it just
changed stuff.
It just changed the color, and we couldn't use AI to fix it.
You could have C-3PO just speaking Sith for half the movie. It'd be fine. So the audience knows, oh, we can do that.
And then it'll force them to decanonize the sequel trilogy.
Exactly.
Because that one fact is going to do it. One fact is going to... Oh, man.
Is there anything else we want to say about the movie?
Probably. I just haven't thought of it yet.
I'll make this one quick. When they're in the Death Star, I appreciate the fact that they're big on exploring the prisons of the Death Star. It's clear that they use torture in these chambers.
Yeah, they torture her.
The film's very honest about the way how empires work. They kill people in the periphery. They imprison people in the center. They torture people in the center. It all happens outside of the news media, nobody's covering it. It's like, oh yeah, that takes guts. They're not just like walking around empty hangars in the Death Star. It adds some context to the world and the character of the government. And it also, it makes a moral argument for why blowing up the Death Star is fine. You get the sense, hey, the people that worked on this, they facilitated XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore they got blown up.
Well, and then
would you add a bit in the AI Star Wars remaster where they send off all of the ethical Death Star employees before they blow it up?
I think they should at least free the prisoners they're sending there.
That's tough to argue with.
Now the problem is,
I was just throwing crap out there.
The problem
that kind of makes sense.
Han and Luke have no clue that they're about to blow up this Death Star. Not really.
Isn't there? I'm delving deep into the EU.
Do it.
Isn't there a short story or something about a prisoner on the Death Star that like doesn't make it or something, or like what? It's like IG-88 and he like becomes a Death Star or something. Am I making that up?
I don't know.
I feel like I'm making
I have
that
not
up.
heard that.
If you've heard that short story, please let us know.
Copy and paste it in full.
My brain is completely fried off of like 20 years of Star Wars content. I cannot keep it straight anymore.
We don't even know if it's canon anymore.
That's another thing.
No clue.
It's another thing. I feel like I was on the losing side. I like the Council of Nicaea. And I'm carrying around these books.
Oh, man.
Quoting them, and people are like, yeah, we don't like those anymore. We don't like those.
You're on the losing side of the Council of Nicaea.
That's fine. I'll just expunge all the implications of these texts I memorized.
I guess I will. I guess
that's fine.
Claude AI to do it. But if you know about this IG-88 story, make sure you run it through 4 separate AI models before you post it in the comments.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Like, I think if you run a New Hope through 4 different models and just say, hey, make minor changes each time. Like specifically focus on this, and this. I wonder what happens.
Don't actually do that last one.
Why?
Because that's one people could actually do.
And
that's one
you
somebody
don't want
would
that to exist,
right? Yeah, that's one somebody could hear and be like, "Oh, that's actually good. I'm gonna actually do that."
Yeah.
That one's just plausible enough.
Do you think we should just censor half of this episode with no explanation? The AI bits where it's like, hold on, filtering by AI on stores is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, we can't let that get out there. Never mind.
Made by an AI artist.
You just filter half the episode. Just without context.
We'll put a filter on the bottom of the episode so that you can filter by AI or not.
Yes.
And it just skips all the AI parts. Or only the AI parts if you're only interested in
only the AI parts.
You want
would be all the AI portion. Skip AI.
Skip AI. Yeah.
Just first second of the video or something.
It's like, oh, the video's over.
No, that'd be skipping to the end of the video. I'm talking just like a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit. We use AI extensively in developing this.
In this episode?
In this episode. Yeah, it generates our background and our scripts.
Yeah.
That's
why we're so funny. But
okay. No, I take it back. All our corny, horrible jokes are ours. Every single one of them.
Do you have self-hate issues?
No, I just
this
think
is very revealing that this is what you're choosing to credit yourself with.
You don't think that this is the funniest thing? I'm not even done, and you're laughing. My point has been proven. I've won the argument. I've won the argument with my superior rhetoric skills.
You're right. I knew what you were going to say, and I have my own form of self-loathing, so I knew it wasn't true. Like, you were going to say this and this is the funniest, and it's over. It's not. I know it's not, because I'm here, and that means I have a self-hate problem.
I think people on the Death Star probably had a self-hate problem.
Like in the last second? Or are you talking about... Oh, you're talking about the whole time?
The whole time, probably.
Oh,
there are probably a billion Cyrils on the Death Star working in little cubicles.
Oh, yes.
We're like, I hate my job. I hate my ethical job.
Do you think
kill everyone factory?
Do you think that
I wish I were Union.
Do you think their fate was a blessing then? Is that what you're trying to say? They were freed?
I think the only true freedom comes with joining the rebellion.
Okay.
I'd like to see you refute that. Beautiful idealism.
They weren't ever
high-minded, ahistorical, anti-materialist idealism.
Brainwashing.
Oh.
That's what it is. Yeah. Because the only way you can achieve true freedom is if you join my cause.
If my cause is freedom.
That's what you say it is.
Yeah.
That's what President Coyne said.
Well, there's two sides to every coin. Important to consider.
I just think that's a fact you're not considering. I just don't think you're considering that enough. Okay. Well, I mean, speaking of AI,
I'd like to see you repeat that.
I don't. There are two sides to every coin.
So that's factual.
Can there be? If you have something that's three sides, can it just not be a coin? Like, is a coin inherently has to be two sides?
Has there ever
Is it the only
in history been a token of currency that was like a little triangle thing?
Has there ever been anyone in history who's tried?
A little pyramid?
Is there anyone in history who's tried?
If
Who stood up?
They
Who stood up
didn't
courageously
succeed.
and said, "I'm gonna have a three-sided coin"?
No.
No, you're right. There hasn't
no,
been,
some
and I
keep-
think we should try
Courageous
with
people.
Claude AI, who's the sponsor of this video.
Gosh, no. Hey, Claude. Has there ever been a pyramid currency?
A pyramid currency.
Wow.
That would be. I mean, I guess
Just Google
gold
it.
has been. I guess that could be.
Gold bars.
Yeah, but like, who's carrying that around? Like, as far as
No.
peasant class,
Yeah, nobody in the peasant class.
I guess they're. We could just look up the definition of a coin and figure this out, but I don't really feel like it.
I think courageous people stand up to oppressive systems,
Yeah.
not arbitrary social conventions on the token of currency.
Oh, well, okay. So you're saying inventions just don't happen? You're saying no one
That's
tries?
like
You're saying
posting
no
on
one
Twitter.
tries?
I'm saying I don't think it's courageous
Oh,
to be like,
what?
guys, we should change our currency. We should.
You don't think it's courageous to
I
say
don't.
we should change our whole economic model?
No,
and
that's
if this
not what I said.
backfires, it's on me.
The appearance of our currency. I don't
Like
think,
someone's face on it,
like-
or like the actual material.
like I don't think a courageous person has ever in history been like, guys, we should make our coins little pyramids. I don't think that takes courage. I think it takes.
Oh, so you're making two claims here. That's never happened, and even if it did, it wouldn't be courageous.
I'm not saying it's never happened.
Oh,
I'm saying it's never happened and caught on
okay.
because I've
That's
never
true.
seen it.
That's true.
So clearly it hasn't caught on. And I'm saying it wouldn't be terribly courageous because it
doesn't change anything.
wouldn't cost you anything.
It doesn't cost or change anything.
Aesthetic changes to society do not cost.
What if it's a means
Anything.
for more effectively storing the currency? What if it's a shape that somehow, some way, even though coins are
Like
pretty
easily
easy to store.
stackable coins.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, what if it was revolutionary? What if you made it way smaller than a coin, like a standard quarter or a penny or a dime even?
You're talking about shrinkflation with coins.
No, well, yeah,
coins, but smaller.
but the shrinkflation could actually make it more valuable if you use something like gold. It's smaller than a dime, but it's more valuable than a dime.
It's true. They have credits in Star Wars.
They do,
Which is the film we're talking about.
yeah, which are like tiny gold bars.
They are for some
Kind of,
reason. They're
yeah.
mostly digital.
Oh, that's true. That's true. They do a lot of digital
Yeah.
currency.
Mostly Bitcoin and gold.
Do you think
Star
like
Wars universe?
what kind of NFTs would they have?
Dear gosh.
What?
They'd have like little pod racer.
Or is that
pod
the
racer NFTs?
is that like the
Those would be
bounties? The bounties were like
The little, like,
were like he
holograms.
downloads the bounty. He's like, that's mine.
He actually downloaded the bounty. It's mine. I'm allowed
It's
to
mine.
hunt this
It's
person.
mine. But because I think in the Mandalorian he gets one and like it disappears. It's his bounty.
It's true.
Like in certain
It's
bounty
NFT
circles,
propaganda.
you wouldn't understand. It's bounty,
Right.
bounty jargon.
You wouldn't know anything about it. Sorry,
wouldn't
we
know
have all
anything
these
about it.
complicated words to talk about.
I'm a crypto bro in space. You wouldn't know about it. Follow my page on x.com.
That's why lie?
Speaking of,
why lie about something so basic? You know what's beautiful about the ending of Star Wars?
What?
When he turns his guiding computer off
Yeah.
and he's guided
Turns off.
by the Force.
Yeah.
He rejects all of these constructs, all this digital bullcrap. Luke Skywalker would never have used an AI model
True.
outside
He actively rejected it.
outside of the droids,
Yeah.
which ironically enough aren't really AI.
So you're saying that R2 and 3PO can't learn new things.
When we say AI nowadays, we mean like the large language models or the image generators. R2 and C3PO, they just are alive. Like functionally they're people.
That's why I was gonna
it's
talk about AI.
distinct.
Yeah. So
It
you
is
think?
distinct.
You think that droids are people?
Absolutely.
Like, okay.
Unequivocally. If there was a person in the Star Wars universe who shot a droid like C-3PO, I think they should be charged with murder.
So you think that
It's
the
a person.
Separatists using all those droids, that was a catastrophe.
I
All of those droids,
I
like, just
think it
getting
was.
eviscerated.
In episode 4, the droids go to the bar and they're rejected service
Mhm.
by the racist barkeeper who says no droids allowed, they have to stay outside.
Yeah.
So it's a social disaster. It's a moral disaster. These droids, they're made and they're programmed for death. They're denied the opportunity to be anything more. I totally think the droids in Star Wars are people.
Now,
And I think we consistently get that in stories and media. Yeah, in the Star Wars universe, like Solo was big on that. Andor's big on that. The Clone Wars was. The
the
prequels
Mandalorian
are.
harps on a lot because he doesn't like droids.
The Mandalorian's so strange because he's just racist.
Yeah.
He's just blatantly racist.
Yeah.
And
But-
they're like, it's a fun character quirk. It's like, it's kind of not.
Right. But you have to
It's-
be. You have to already be on board with the fact that droids are people
Yeah.
before you can say that before you make the leap to agree that
It's-
he's racist. So it's like people have a barrier there.
It is strange in Star Wars because you get the sense that the droid's capacity can be reduced, or you can produce some droids that just are functional.
They're just set. Yeah.
And that's a little bit uncomfortable, right? Because it's like there's no real world analogy for that where some people are just monotonous, set, unchangeable, static beings. It's like in the real world, every person has the capacity to grow. Yeah, there might be variations in capacity. Not everybody's going to be a star football player or star pianist, but everyone can grow. The droids in Star Wars often can't. And we're okay with those droids being killed. The battle droids, presumably they couldn't do anything else. Like C-3PO.
But the droids have personality. The battle droids have personality.
Well, they do in the Clone Wars. And even then it's some.
Okay.
It's
Okay. You're being discriminatory right now, but that's okay. Between Star Wars media, that's fine.
discriminatory as in
Between canon Star Wars media.
observing a distinction. Yes.
Between the Clone Wars and what? It's less Star Wars?
And
It's less of a Star Wars thing?
it is a separate Star Wars.
It's separate. But we
You
brought up
say
multiple different things.
discrimination. I'm going to say and I'm pointing out the droids are portrayed differently
Throughout
in different pieces of Star Wars.
Oh,
content.
yeah.
So we'll say discernment or I don't know, designation
Yeah.
is a better word.
Yeah.
It's not that I'm making a content value or like a moral value. I'm just observing the capacity that these droids have varies depending on what story they're in.
Yeah. Well, like in episode 6, they
depends.
torture a gonk droid.
Yeah, physically,
Which is crazy.
It's like, what's the deal with that?
he's just a gonk. It's not even like
Why?
it's not even like he's like IG-88 or he's C-3PO. It's a gonk droid
He
who
walks
you would
around.
think, right? And you think
That's his whole shtick.
I know it's like its whole thing. But also, you want to talk about droids that are just kind of set, built for a purpose, whatever, all that stuff. But they're torturing him. He feels pain. How does that? Like, why would you do that? And that also
Yeah,
means
why?
that if you're torturing this droid, you're torturing this person
Yeah.
or this being, this however you want to put it. So they have a whole torture chamber for all the droids. They have one chained up.
That's
And they're like electrocuting it. This is crazy. Which we'll get there in a few months, but like that's wild.
the droids in Star Wars are weird. It's this weird permanent underclass that the series has never been willing to grapple with. It's a weird element of the series. The best Star Wars content treats them like people. And you should accept that they're people. The worst Star Wars content treats them like disposable garbage. I think that's significant.
Well, and I think that adds to the Clone Wars thing, where it's like, oh, the Separatists built droids so they could just throw them out. But then the Republic is throwing away clones.
Yeah.
And you have people who just like use them as cannon fodder both ways. And so that's an interesting conversation there too. But
yeah,
if we ever get to the Clone Wars, we'll do that then. But anyway, what would you rate this movie?
What would I rate?
What do you rate A New Hope?
Oh, for what it is.
For what it is.
Okay. Let me change my wording there. When one considers A New Hope, it is difficult to consider the film on its own. as opposed to the foundation of a 9-movie series with dozens of spin-off movies, books, TV shows, radio dramas, podcasts, and everything else. When I do my best to separate out the film from all of its sequels and everything that came afterwards, I am left with a 10 out of 10 film still, I think.
10 out of 10.
I
10
think
yeah.
it's a for the story it's trying to tell, it's a perfect story about, I think, the colonized perspectives on an empire and what it's like to resist that and why people do pick up arms and fight against these foreign countries. It has a unique philosophy, it has breathtaking special effects, the performances are all good, the fights, though simple, are tense and character driven, which does wonders. The arcs are great, the actors are good, there's not too many characters, the costumes are wonderful. I guess it'd be nice maybe to have like another alien main character, but I get why they didn't do that. I get that we have to wait for Yoda, but we get Chewbacca in this film. He's great. He doesn't really do anything. This is the first time we're talking about him in the podcast episode.
It's true. It's true. Did we even talk about the Empire's alien racism? We talked about the composition of the Empire.
Well, they're all white men, and
yeah.
It's assumed that they're racist towards aliens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think it's 10 out of 10.
I think it's a 10 out of 10.
I don't think you can rate it anything
Taking
else.
my nostalgia goggles off, putting on my objective hat.
Like, okay, in the comments if you disagree,
I think
for whatever reason, in the comments if you disagree, why is this film not a 10 out of 10? Like, by what metric would you say it's not a 10 out of 10?
You're not allowed to say that it's because of the CGI dinosaurs that wander across the entire frame.
No, because that's not the movie that was made in 1977.
That doesn't count. It's not in the film.
No.
Your eyes are lying to you. You need to get those checked. Go to your nearest psychologist.
Yeah,
tell them you've been seeing things.
Those are the meta glasses. Adding those in because Zuckerberg couldn't watch the original movie without the CGI.
Before you watch the film, put it through an AI model and ask it to remove all the CGI.
And then does that mean the stormtrooper's floating? These are questions that we need answered. Someone do this.
None of this is legal advice. Do not do any of that. Except for the part.
I'm not going to do it.
Except for the part where you tell us in the comments.
Yes.
Why is it not a 10 out of 10?
And why do you like this movie? What specifically? Because it was very hard to articulate like why I like this movie so much.
Yeah.
Like the amount that I love this movie and the amount that I can describe why, it's just so hard to do.
Yeah.
But it's fun, well thought out, a good story, good plot.
Emotionally driven.
Beautifully
shot.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was pioneering and all that stuff. So anyway, thank you for watching. Yes. Like and subscribe. Give us new suggestions for what you want us to talk about. And we'll see you next time.